Sometimes things can be so bad, painful, rocky, and unstable for so long that it becomes our new normal. We don't realize that we are in great trouble, in ruins, even in disgrace. The walls of our lives have been broken down, and we're vulnerable and at risk. And our spiritual enemy can come in at any time and attack us.
How many times we're burying things alive? We thought the dream was dead. We tried, but the door didn't open. We didn't get any good breaks. It's been years. Now we're convinced we'll never be promoted, never start the business, never write the book. We bury relationships. This marriage is done. We don't get along. It's never going to last. Sometimes we bury promises. I'll never get well, never break the addiction, never live an abundant life. At one time, we believed. We knew God put it in our heart. We talked like it was going to happen. We took steps of faith, but now we don't see any signs of life. All the circumstances say it's too late, so we buried it.
And if you feel like your life is in a place where you can't get any lower and you don't think you can find any way out, good, because that means the ultimate challenge is ahead of you. It means you can only go up. And it also means that things are going to be tough. Things are going to be tougher than anything you can imagine. But that storm that you're in, from your perspective, it seems like that storm is enveloping the whole world. But I'm telling you, it is not. The storm that you're in, it is hard to see out of that storm. It's hard to see past it. It seems like the storm is everything. But the storm is not everything. And it won't last forever. You can get out of the storm, and you will get out of the storm. And when you get out, you're going to see the sun again.
The good news is it's buried alive. You may not be able to see it, but it still has a pulse. If you'll get your passion back, God will still bring it to pass. Just because you gave up doesn't mean God gave up. God doesn't abort dreams. He doesn't start something and not finish it. You're going to see God wake up some things you thought were dead. You thought that marriage was dead, God's about to wake it up. Your happiest, most fulfilled days in that relationship are still in front of you. You thought you would never meet the right person. You'd go through life single. God's about to wake up your dream. You're going to meet someone so amazing, you'll know it was the hand of God. Or maybe you thought you were too old to accomplish your goal. You convinced yourself it's too late. You missed too many opportunities. God is about to surprise you. That dream is about to come back to life. You may have put it in a coma. You may have talked yourself out of it. God has you hearing this so you can be talked back into it. He wouldn't have put the promise in your heart if He wasn't going to bring it to pass. It may not have happened on your timetable or the way you thought, but make no mistake, it is still alive. What God started, He's going to finish. What He promised you is still on the way. It's going to happen suddenly. You didn't see it coming. Not only are you going to be amazed, but people around you are going to be amazed, especially those that have discounted you. Thought you could never be promoted. You could never take new ground. Don't worry. When God wakes up what's been lying dormant in you, the potential, the talent, the businesses, the dreams, the ideas, the spouse, people are going to stand in awe. They're going to know the hand of God is on your life.
Now, consider the spirit of fear. God has not given us a spirit of fear. Say that with me. God has not given us a spirit of fear. Disease has killed its thousands, but the spirit of fear has killed its 10,000s. Your greatest crisis will come from the fear of trouble, not the presence of trouble. Hear that. Your greatest crisis will come from the fear of trouble, not the presence of trouble. The spirit of fear will break your spirit. It will destroy your defenses. It will disarm you in the day of battle, and it will bring terror to you on your deathbed. Regardless of your profession of faith, if you live with the spirit of fear, listen, you are a practical atheist. If you live with the spirit of fear, you are a practical atheist. You don't really believe what God said. When you believe this, the spirit of fear is no more a part of your speech. It's no more a thought of your life. It's gone.
Success is the completion and the fulfillment of the original intent or purpose for your existence, or why you were created. Success is the completion and the successful fulfillment of the purpose for your existence, or why a thing was made. Success, it's you discovering your purpose and then completing it before you die.
Imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never went after that dream. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those talents. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, "We came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever."
Some of you had your parents tell you, well, you can't achieve greatness. Some of you had your friends tell you that. Why not you? Why not you? If God is God and the Word of God is true, why not you? One of my favorite stories in history begins in 1519 when an extraordinary man set sail on the final leg of a voyage from the shores of Cuba to the Yucatan Peninsula. His name is Hernan Cortez. He had 11 ships, 500 soldiers, 100 sailors, and 16 horses. Their mission was to capture the world's richest treasure, a treasure of gold and silver and jewels and artifacts that were truly wealth unmeasured. This treasure had been held by the same army for 600 years. Army after army, conqueror after conqueror had tried to take it and failed. Cortez got a group of people together, and halfway through the voyage, many of the soldiers and sailors became fearful. They said to him, "Mr. Cortez, we're not sure about this mission. This has been tried for 600 years without success. Whole armies have died out here trying to do what you're talking about." Let me transform that to church talk. "Pastor, this project is too big. Maybe it's too ambitious. Maybe we should downsize this vision just a little bit." How many times have I heard that in 50 years? Back to Cortez. Cortez listened patiently to his followers. When they arrived at the Yucatan Peninsula, Cortez gathered all of his frightened men on the beach. They grew quiet, waiting for their leader to speak. They thought he was going to say, "You're right, men. Your fears are justified. We'll rest for just a few days, and then we're out of here." Not hardly. This is what Cortez said when they got them all together. "Burn the boats." What you say? Burn the boats. And they burned every one of them. And when they burned every one of them, he said, "If we go home, we're going home in their boats." You know what happened? Fear evaporated. Those soldiers fought furiously, and for the first time in 600 years, that treasure was taken. Why? Because their fears were cremated by those burning boats. Their only choice was to take the treasure and to win the fight. So listen clearly as we close. When fear grabs you by the throat, send faith to answer. Burn the boats. Burn your excuses. Burn your insecurities. Burn your lack of confidence. Get away from your negative friends. Break out of that negative environment. Burn the friendships of the frightened Freddies. If God be for you, who can be against you? Greater is he that's in you than he that's within the world. No fear, no fear, no fear. God is with you.
For years I and people like me had been told, once an addict, always an addict. Once a criminal, always a criminal. Once a loser, always a loser. But I realized that was only true if you believed it. I have learned the hard way how paralyzing self-doubt can be. It contributes to people choosing misery over joy and emptiness over fulfillment and imprisonment over freedom, and unnecessarily so.
Wherever we have stopped in our dream, we stopped at a place called willingness. Anybody that has fallen short of their goals, they ran into something that they were not willing to handle. Because in order to reach your dream, in order to make things happen, there must be a willingness to do what is required. If we have some skill, some ability, some knowledge, or some product, then the only thing that's between us and what we want to generate is our willingness to expend the energy to produce the results that we want. What am I willing to do with my energy, my time, and my knowledge to produce the results? That's the bottom line. What are you willing to do? And what most people don't realize is they don't give up on their goals because it becomes insurmountable or it's impossible. Is that they just looked at what they wanted and they just decided within themselves, consciously or unconsciously, I'm not willing to produce this result. Are you willing to say that I need $2,000 between now and next week, and come hell or high water, I will produce that? That's the bottom line. Because the only thing that counts in life are results, not reasons of why you didn't do it, but results. That's the only thing that counts. And we are capable of producing results. That's it. That's the bottom line. What would the world be like if everybody lived their dream? Here's what I've found about life. It's not as complicated as I used to make it. I think that life is about dreams and stories. Everything that exists, the world at one time was barren, but everything that exists, hotels, planes, they weren't here. Everything that we see every day, computers, all of the things that we see, someone had a dream. Someone had a dream of a person standing on stage and their voice being amplified so they don't have to scream and yell and can be heard by thousands. Someone had that dream of how to transport us from one place to the other quickly and safely. The clothes you have on, where you're now seated, all came out of somebody's dream, the world's greatest achievement. What is your dream? I said that you have something special. I didn't say that just to be kind. I said it because it's true. You are God's chosen vessel. You were chosen, 1 out of 400 million sperm. You have something in you that when you were chosen, when you showed up, there's something in you that if you don't do it, all of us will suffer. Repeat after me, please. Live full. Die empty. Let's say it again. Live full. Die empty.
Change is inevitable.
Change is also the principle of life. That means everything that is alive will change. And even things that are not alive. Change is in creation. It's part of life. Everything, there is a season. And to every purpose under heaven, there is a time for it. Everything, there's a season. If you're having a bad time right now, it cannot last. If you cannot find a job right now, that is only a season. If your business is going in the wrong direction, it's a seasonal slide. If nobody wants to marry you, that's only a season. There's going to come a season when everybody want to marry you. You got choices. If you have no money right now, the good news is I am seasonally broke. It's only for a time. That's the good news. And that's why we are always reminded, never make a permanent decision in a temporary problem.